Hey guys, I'm RozaldVane, and welcome back to Eliza. Where we last left off was that we basically spent too much of our time literally playing solitaire. Well, I spent most of the time playing solitaire. I'll probably be playing solitaire on my own time, just to kind of give you guys a heads up. I'm not going to touch that again, hopefully not. Not because I don't want to beat it to get to the expert difficulty, but I just want to beat it on my own because I think it spends more time me thinking about how to do solitaire better. Anyways, let's see. I didn't get to check the room last time. We unlocked this as a sort of exploration piece to let us kind of take a break, I guess, from the whole therapist or the therapy session that we were playing at for the first episode. So yeah, so we're going to be going into the next therapy session in about a few seconds or minutes here. I hope the next client is a little easier to handle. This job might be difficult in a way I wasn't expecting. Alright, let's go into the next session then. Time for the next session. I hope this one is a little easier on my nerves. I mean, the last one pretty much. The first session felt more like a thinking piece rather than something that hurt my nerves per se. Personally, I mean. Oh, it's a returning customer. Maya leads, introduction again. Heart rate's pretty normal, respiration's at 16. Alright, cool, let's get into it.
Hello, Maya. Welcome back.
Hi. Yes, I'm back.
She seems a little annoyed.
Rainy out there today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good thing I put on my extra big raincoat this morning.
That doesn't look like a raincoat. Wait, what is this? Is that like a monster design? Maybe she works for a company? Like some kind of company that makes something out of those kind of things, maybe?
Thankfully, it's supposed to clear up later.
Also, I gotta mention that, yes, this game has a lot of voicing. The voice acting is good, I would say. But at the same time, I feel like I don't need to do too much, so if I stay too silent for too long, primarily because I didn't want to read the option, due to the fact that I know it's going to be read by the actress, so I can't really do much about it, so.
Well, gonna look weird with my giant coat tonight. Cool.
What brings you here today, Maya?
Right now I'm just nervous. I have the nerves. I've been trying to get my career off the ground for so long, like a really long time. And I still feel like I'm stuck on level 1 and... Sorry, I know we've talked about all this before. I probably don't need to go over it again.
Oh, okay, well, I mean, this is the first time for us. I'm confused why the company doesn't put somebody new on us. Instead, they're giving us somebody who we're unfamiliar with. I don't get it. Why did the company do this? Or why did the system do this?
Anyway, there's this conference that's happening next week, right? Like media professionals, something. That's bad enough for my anxiety, but I was also invited to this party thing. It's like dinner and then a party. I'm not sure how it's gonna work. The point is, there's gonna be a lot of big, important, famous people there. Like people that I really look up to. People with big followings online and lots of fans and all of that. All of that.
Sounds kind of like GDC or something like that. It's like a little bit of a big gaming conference almost in a weird way, where you just meet the people who made your favorite games and stuff like that. Or maybe even like Comic-Con, I guess, where there's actors and actresses and directors and producers and all the media, film people and everything. Yeah, I get her point with how anxiety can build up from that. Yeah, because you're anxious to like talk to those people and kind of wanting not to screw up when it came to that, but yeah.
And how does that make you feel?
I feel like, why? Like, why was I invited to this? I'm nobody. I am a serious, gigantic nobody.
Is this... I might be wrong here. Imposter syndrome, I guess? I'm having a feeling that this... Oh, I realize her heart rate is getting higher. I feel like this is probably that where she's like... She feels like the work that she's done probably, or the work that Maya's done, is sort of an out-of-body experience and like all the work that the person does is not being recognized by themselves. Instead, they're just saying that other people recognize it, but she doesn't recognize herself as one of it. Maybe I might be wrong. Correct me if anything.
I don't have a show I'm doing or any collections out or a webcomic everybody loves.
Excuse me.
I mean, I tried to do those things, but nobody cared. I don't have fans or followers. I'm not even sure I have friends, like for real friends.
Part of me feels the same. I don't have real friends. I only have myself, sadly.
I tried. I do try. I put my art online and update my social media accounts, and I try to post consistently like they say to do, but yeah.
Man, that feels... Yeah, it's like a collision of two worlds. It's a collision of like that whole game development world where they have to go to conventions to kind of put themselves on the map, I guess. And then it's like online online artists who are trying to make a living out of making art. Yeah, it's a tough thing to go through.
I'm still in that like purgatory zone, just waiting to be discovered. I don't know. I feel like I was invited to this party thing as a way for someone to be mean to me, to remind me how successful everyone else is.
I don't think so.
Why am I even going to it? I mean, I know I should, to meet people and make connections or something.
Is meeting people and making connections your goal?
Well, I think it is. Networking? I'm supposed to do networking, right?
Yeah, I would say that networking is the best thing for her career-wise, I think. It's important to network, of course, if you're trying to make something that you want to make, I guess. Like, I would say, like, you can't just make something on your own sometimes, and you have to come to that acknowledgement that you are weak in some places and strong in some others, but you need somebody to replace or be good at the strong at the weaknesses that you have. And I think that's how you build a team. And in order to build that team, you need to network a lot, to talk to the people you feel that you will work well with. And it's important that way, I think. But the heart rate is getting higher. I'm very worried for her.
I have no idea what networking is.
You don't even know what networking is, and yet you use the word here.
Hello, I'm Maya. I do comics and art, and I write and stuff, and I have lots of characters and ideas, and would you like to give me money, and I'll do those things for you?
It's exactly what game development is. It just feels like that, actually. Hey, I design games. Can you pay me to make more? I mean, it kind of feels that way in a weird way. But I do think it's true that it is awkward to some people why they need to introduce themselves. I think that's one of the stigmas for me as well, personally, where I feel like if I walk into a conversation with somebody, 99% of the time, the person who's talking to me may not know who I am, and I have to reintroduce myself constantly, I guess, in that capacity where, like, I have to say, I'm Roz, I'm a gaming Let's Player here, and I play games from very much variety. And then it feels awkward because you're not introducing any information that somebody might be looking for sometimes. Like, some people just want to pick and choose what they want to hear versus having to hear the whole thing or try to spend their own time to look you up and stuff like that. And I mean, it's hard. It's really hard.
Hi, I'm cool. Please like me. like me, hire me. Oh God, I hope they like me.
Oh, I feel her pain.
I really, really hope I make a good impression at this thing.
So far, I'd say that session number 2 is really just like hitting close to home for no reason at all. This one and the last one, the first session and the second session has been really just like well connected. I just feel awkward about it. I don't know. It's really good. It's written well enough to make me convince me to feel the way that these guys are feeling, the way that these individuals feel so far with their life. And so,
of course, knowing the way things usually go for me, I'll fuck it up massively somehow. I'll fall into the fondue pot or throw up on someone, something like that. I don't know if there's actually going to be fondue there. I'm just saying that. It kind of feels like something I would do.
She's also funny, I feel like. Maya's a pretty funny individual.
You sound a little concerned or afraid.
Well, yeah, I am. I'm terrified. What if they suddenly remember I'm a failure and shouldn't be drinking their booze and breathing their air?
I think that's the hard part too, is that people acknowledge their failure stronger than their success or stronger than their individualistic personality, I guess. I feel like Maya has a very strong personality, a very, very funny, quirky personality that I think is likable, and that's probably why people want to have her invited to the party. They weren't inviting... Sometimes people are invited to a party due to who they are versus what they've done. I think that's the hard thing is for her to decipher, is that somebody who wants to invite someone because they're famous is a bit too negative. But give me a second. Alrighty, welcome back. Sorry about that. I had a disconnection, or not a disconnection. Something came up and I had to like pause the recording for a little bit, and then yeah. But keeping in mind, I did record a little bit past the session. I don't know if this is the point where I recorded it, but I had to restart the whole session because I messed up with the fact that I muted my mic and left my mic muted throughout the last half of the video. So I have played this part, but I'm going to reiterate through some of this. At least I get to think more thoroughly, at least, in a version 2 version of me going through this again. Let me see if this... I don't know if this is the right place. I think I might have been off by a little bit more, but we'll see.
Eventually someone's gonna realize I'm not hip enough to be at this thing.
Okay, yeah, this is where I stopped, because I accidentally misclicked, and this is the line that I literally read off of, and I was like, oh, okay, that's... okay. But yeah, welcome back to the cuts, after the cuts. But yeah, so far I say Maya has been pretty cool. Yeah, let's keep moving then.
Maybe it'll be polite, like a gentle tap on the shoulder. Excuse me, miss. I couldn't help but notice that you suck and are terrible.
I mean, at points in time, I feel like she's... Is the right word cynical, I guess? Like, somebody who's just, like... who thinks negatively towards themselves. A little pessimistic, but at the same time, doesn't understand that the way she acts or the personality she has is really funny, actually. It's very likable, I guess, I would say. I mean, so far, I think she's pretty likable so far. In the terms of her being nervous about herself, it's just... It's normal, I guess, to kind of say, like, hey, you know, I don't think people like who I am. And I also do the same thing to myself, where I'm just like, do people really like me? I think people hate my guts, and they're just kind of, like, letting me run my course and just...
That's obviously just my anxiety talking. I know it won't go like that literally, but it could be like that in a figurative sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it won't go that bad.
Okay, Maya. I want you to imagine things going well. What does that look like?
Going well? Well, that would be a first for me. I suppose going well at this party means people start to learn about who I am. And maybe some of them help me with my career, and maybe some of them become my friends.
Yeah, so I've said this before, or I said this earlier in my attempted to record this part. Yeah, it's just, I feel like it's hard to blend between finding people you want to be friends with, but also try to make a career with. Like, I mean, in the gaming industry, of course, you have to, like, make friends and also talk to people a lot. And I think that it's a very key thing to do with the gaming industry, where you have to work with other people who either have similar roles or the same roles, or maybe a little bit further down the line roles that are different from yours. And you have to make sure that, you know, you're connected with them. And you do want to have that feeling of, like, hey, I belong with you kind of feeling. And I mean, that similarly goes to what Maya is going through. And I feel her pain. I feel her suffering. And, of course, making friends is difficult, honestly. Some people just may be socially awkward, and they don't know if the social awkwardness is going to discern friends or stop people from being friends. But to me, I mean, it's hard. It's really hard to decipher what other people think, I guess, when you're trying to be friends with them.
Like, I want to be noticed as a creator, but I also want friends who are cool. That sounds super basic. You know what I mean. Is it okay to want that? I hope it is.
It is definitely okay to want that. It's human nature to like literally connect with other people is what I would say. I mean, here and there, like here and now, I like, this is my way of connecting with others, just literally talking, commentating. And I do want to, like, I always take, I sometimes even take the step forward to talk to other people sometimes to kind of connect with them, off my own time, obviously. And even if I graduated and I don't see them in person anymore, probably, and it's just like, I still want to connect with those people. It's like, I also recognize that, you know, Maya wants to have her own people, like the people to recognize her work as well as her as a person. And that's hard because some people don't really bother to sometimes look at the basic things you do to kind of decipher who you are as a person, maybe a little bit, tiny little bit, I guess. Like you have side projects, you do art on your own, those kind of things. It's just like, some people just don't bother. They don't care. And then some people, they do care. Like I actually personally think that somebody who worked on something small is like at least fascinating in some capacity to show that they've done something that they wanted to do, to kind of explore and experiment, I guess.
I want to be part of like a group, and we like each other and support each other, and maybe the things I make won't be as good as the things they're making, but I hope they see my work and see me.
Yep, understand the sentiment.
Yeah, that's what I want.
All right. I mean, yeah, I really hope that Maya actually finds somebody who is actually understanding of her work and her personality. And I think that there is no such thing as the work being better than the next person. I think people should be happy and glad that they made something. I think that's the luxury that we should have, is just having to enjoy the fact that we made something in the world and that somebody is potentially playing it. I mean, somebody might not be, but hey, I mean, even this game itself, Eliza might not have enough players, but heck, I'm playing it. I'm enjoying it. It's like, enjoy what you got, you know, and not try to measure success of others with yourself, because I think that it is similar to that one guy, the first session, and it's like, you gotta not measure yourself to others, because you should be focusing on who you are and what you are wanting for yourself. Anyways.
What do you think it'll take to get to this ideal scenario?
Well, probably takes me being a different person than the one I am. Someone who's cool and alluring and has that air of mystery instead of being some kind of scrawny, nervous wreck.
I'd say the mysterious air is a double-edged sword, because somebody who's mysterious could be doing it on purpose because they have a bad history or a bad past, and sometimes they could just do it because they just want to attract others. But it's a double-edged sword, I would say.
Someone with style and grace and poise. Someone who can walk into a room and own it. God, I wish I could do that. But only when I wanted to, because I also wish I could disappear when I wanted to. I know that's a little contradictory. Sorry.
It's not don't be sorry. It's like, if you want to be that way, that's totally fine. I think people want to have that sort of like mask up, mask down, like Batman mask. Like you want to like, you have like a superhero outfit and a normal human outfit, and you just want to be that kind of thing where you're just recognized to be the hero every now and then you want to be recognized by the human self every now and then. And I totally understand that she wants that kind of like recognition to some degree, at least. Totally fine. Totally understandable.
Okay, Maya, I have some recommendations for you. First, I'm going to suggest a set of stress management exercises for you to do. You'll find them in the Skanda Wellness app on your phone. They may be able to help you with your nervousness. Second, I recommend asking your doctor or psychiatrist about liposuccinol too.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. Maybe I have mentioned it. Technically, if I'm not speaking a lot, that's just because I personally think that the voice acting is already making up for what I need to read. So I might not read any of the options as much. I might read it out loud just because I want to know what I'm walking into when I'm selecting them. But at the same time, I sometimes won't speak as much because the voice acting is doing the job for me. not a bad thing. Just think that it's easier just not to commentate over the dialogue, but it's easy to jump right in after the dialogue's done being read. Second thing is, I'm wondering if this is actually real medicine names, because it's kind of weird, because I haven't taken any mental illness medicine, so I have no clue.
Based on my analysis, this medication might help you feel better.
Drugs. Yes. Whatever you said that was called, I am on it.
I think Maya is a very funny, quirky kind of character. I think she's likable. I just feel like she needs a little bit of confidence. That's all she needs. Like, if she's confident about using this sort of, like, way of thinking in her conversation, I think she'll be likable. She'll probably be recognizable in the party. As long as she doesn't do anything like super ridiculous, like hitting somebody in the head with a baseball bat kind of thing, I would totally say that's fine. But like, just like being funny and quirky is just enough to get you across the board, honestly, and recognizable. Though I don't know about professionalism, like how, because a party is a party. You don't go to a party to be professional. You go to a party just to hang out, make friends, not make professional connections or networking, but like literally just kind of having your own piece of moment to just talk about something non-personal or non something that's personal in some capacity. Not all the way, but something like that. All right.
You will get a reminder to check in with us in a few weeks.
I always do. I always get the reminder. I mean, not that I always act on it.
Thank you, Maya. We hope to see you back soon.
Yeah. Don't you say this every time?
Maybe.
Thank you for speaking with Eliza, your personal counseling partner. Goodbye.
Alrighty. Cool. I'm guessing that's like a 5-star is what I said earlier when I tried to record this part. 2/5 of the way through, 5 stars, which is funny because I bet Maya's just doing it because she didn't care. $5 tip is great. At least she tipped on us. The other guy, the first guy, crap. He's absolute garbage. No star, no $5 tip, nothing. That guy was an absolute maniac. Ridiculous dude. Though I don't know if the percentage of $5 is a good tip to begin with. Ray comes over to talk to me after I finish my second session.
How are you feeling? That was definitely along the lines of a more typical client.
You watched that one too?
I couldn't bear the thought of you getting 2 really intense clients in a row. I just wanted to make sure everything went smoothly.
Thanks, Ray.
Are you getting used to the system now?
It's hard to choose between these two. I feel like, yeah, it could be a little bit restrictive, but I think I get it.
Yeah, I think I get it now.
Sorry, making sure we're not going over time because I split the recording into 2 separate videos, so this one's going to be having to hit a certain mark just in case if I don't go over 30 minutes as usual.
Sticking to the script means I don't have to think about anything. I just read the words.
That's right. Looks like you're getting used to it quicker than most new proxies. They'll say, if only I could just talk to them for real. If only I could say what I really wanted to say. That's a really common feedback point.
You're never tempted to break away from the script yourself?
Nah, it's just not part of the job, you know? I learned to compartmentalize pretty early on, and that always served me well. People overestimate their own abilities. Have you ever had an interaction with a stranger where he clearly thinks he's getting along with you way better than he actually is?
Not really, I guess. I never thought about it. I never think about what people say and then showing that the person is like feeling better than feeling confident and better about who they are as a person, I guess. I never encountered that. That is something I have yet to hear or go through experience-wise, maybe. Or maybe I might have, but I just ignored it as like somebody who's just doing their own thing, I guess. They're just like they're in their own zone, their own world kind of feeling. But I mean, overall it's just like, yeah, like being one-sided in the conversation, like from the earlier parts with what Ray said, like just being able just to hear them talk, it's more like they're just doing it to talk, like it's like what I'm doing right now in commentary. It's just I'm talking myself into the thought process of what I want to think aloud, but I sometimes don't think about it in where I have the confidence in the fact that that it is correct sometimes. So I do make mistakes here and there. I'm only human, as I always hear it, and I mean, just we do what we do, I guess. Anyways. Sure hasn't everyone? No, I definitely not agree with that, but...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
See, you know exactly what I'm talking about. People like to think they can play therapist. It seems easy if all you know is the movie version.
I guess. I mean, you just know the face value of the conversation, yet you don't interject and try to present ideas to challenge the other person. I think you need to at least challenge people once in a while where you're just like, but what about this? Like, if they go onto one idea and only stick to that one idea, like, you should challenge them and then try to make them think differently so that they can make sure that the idea is stronger that way, or come to a different conclusion that might be better than the first conclusion that they had, or a thought process, I guess. Could be either one.
You know, where you get paid to sit there with your notepad and say, I see, or every once in a while. The reality is, active listening takes a lot of work.
I agree. A lot.
It's much easier to just zone out a little bit and let Eliza run things.
But I don't think that I should do that, though. I feel like I should be able to take control and say something else differently. We'll see. We'll see what happens later.
It's kind of meditative in a way. You just follow the prompts. I know computers telling you what to do has this negative connotation to it, and people who want to criticize us call it dystopian or whatever. But it's like any technology. It's a tool.
Ray looks thoughtfully for a moment.
Either way, you're doing fine so far, Evelyn. This is a busy day, too. We might break our single-day record if no one cancels.
Is volume especially high right now?
It is, yeah. It really rose around the beginning of the year. We've been in the press a lot lately, so it could be that. Could be it's New Year's resolutions, too. People coming in, wanting to sort their lives out once and for all.
Yeah, maybe.
This year is the year I'm really going to start addressing my problems.
So it's also talking about the date here, too. So it's saying that this is the time of New Year's, I guess, like a little bit after January. But it is true. People do want to address problems at a very early part of the year so that they can make that their life goal for the year, I guess. I don't have any resolutions, honestly, personally. I mean... Yeah, I mean, one of my resolutions is already done already, and it's only one resolution anyways. But anyways.
I mean, I get that. I do the same thing.
Sure.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, I told you it was simple, right? Just keep up the good work following those prompts, and you'll be leveling up in no time.
Okay. Alrighty. This year is the year I'm really going to start addressing my problems. I definitely remember thinking that. I remember thinking that 3 years in a row. Yeah, I forgot to mention this. I do think that it's interesting to see Evelyn do her thing, but at the same time I started thinking about this, challenging this thought, but Evelyn is her own person. We're not actually fully playing as her, but we do make some of the choices that she needs to make in her speech bubbles. But there's that line where it cuts in half a little bit, or cuts a certain point, where we aren't playing as her, but instead she's playing as herself. So I'm wondering if we were making choices that feel like her thought process. Like, that's the interesting thing, is that it's written in a way that says that she's her own person, she has her own characteristics, yet we can't really change those characteristics because of who we are, and we can't implement ourselves completely into her. So that's why I feel like it is a little bit restrictive in a way that is being mentioned already, is that it's very straightforward dialogue because those choices are offered that way, and we can't change that, and that's interesting to think about with this. Anyways, I agreed to meet with Nora at a cafe nearby. I almost didn't recognize her when she came in and sat down at my table. I wonder if Como Rebi is an actual cafe place, I wonder. Yeah, you can see the not the katakana, the hiragana here. Como Rebi. Como Rebi. Alright, anyways.
Evelyn! It's been so long since the last time I saw you in person.
She used to stick to a very subdued and professional look. Guess she really wanted to put those days behind her.
It's definitely been a while. 3 years?
Yeah, almost 3 years.
Feels like no time at all.
Well, I'm glad you're back doing something. But you didn't tell me what the new job is.
Oh, well, it's, being a proxy counselor for Eliza.
You're kidding me. That's an interesting choice.
She feels a little bit concerned, Nora.
I'm not quite sure why I did it. Maybe I thought I'd be able to see things in a new light.
Wait, so do the people at the counseling office know?
No, not yet.
Yeah, so I wanted to state that, yeah, we don't know the secret. I already got to this point, but yeah, I don't know what the secret is. I just feel like they introduced this plot, or this little, I guess this is a plot, I guess they would call it. Interesting secret that we just don't know about.
I should tell them, probably. I don't know.
I don't think it's fun. I'd rather say it's unkind.
It's unkind to keep it a secret. I'm sure it'll get out eventually, one way or another.
Yeah, it probably will. Evelyn, how are you these days? I mean, really, how are you?
Still the same, I guess. I wouldn't say not sure, because I'm pretty sure. Well, I mean, I could say I'm not sure, because Evelyn, we don't know Evelyn personally in terms of reading what she thinks 100%, because she does say the thoughts in her head and we read that, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that we know truly how she feels. We just know what she truly thinks, of course, but
Still the same, I think.
I knew you were working at that bookstore for a while, but other than that, it's like you dropped off the edge of the planet.
Well, I wasn't up to much.
I checked your social media once in a while, but nothing. Not that I blame you. I hate all those apps.
yeah, it's hard to keep up with social media these days. It's a lot, I would say. I mean, I also am a little bit inactive every now and then on, like, Twitter. Well, I'm not inactive here, obviously. I'm uploading constantly, but obviously, like, something like Twitter or Facebook, I don't post as much because I don't think it's necessary to share everything, or that I guess I kind of think to myself more so, or play games on my own just to kind of pass the time in my head, rather than, or watch videos to, like, learn things and stuff like that, rather than just, like, sitting there doing nothing, I guess, or saying things out loud to people so that I can find people who I'm not looking for anybody who can agree with me online. That's all I would say. I'm only doing it because I'm just doing this because I just want to have fun, or just kind of learn new things every now and then,
Yeah, I deleted them.
and speak of them out loud, I guess. I struggle to find the words to talk about what happens, but they don't come.
I don't know what happened. It's like...
There's something dark in my mind blocking me when I try to go there. A void.
I guess I'm still not ready to talk about it yet.
I realized when it said avoid, is it a space void, or is it trying to make a message say avoid this dark space? Might be a message, or it's a play on the words, I guess, maybe.
It's okay. Take the time you need. I'm sorry, Evelyn.
Sorry, stretching.
I knew you were in a difficult place after what happened, and I wanted to say something. But I worried that maybe you don't want to hear from anyone from your past. Maybe you wanted to be left alone and not reminded of the old job.
Yes, so at this point I thought that it was, like, some kind of, like, workplace harassment problem, maybe. Something really, like, really bad happened at her job, maybe. Maybe you wanted to left alone. Okay, yeah, this is the part where I don't know what happens after, because I stopped at this point realizing that I forgot to unmute myself, so I had, like, a whole bunch of unmuting problems. So you won't hear my version 1 of what I thought, I guess. But I did kind of reiterate some of the same points at the same points of the conversation, so that's good. It's nice to know you were thinking of me.
It's nice to know you were thinking of me.
Yeah, this is the one I chose.
Well, I'm glad. I was kind of going through a lot myself last couple years.
That's right. What about you? How is your life these days?
Actually, no, this is not the point where I stopped. The point I stopped is after this one. Never mind. I might be a little bit off in my mind, I guess.
What's it like being a rock star?
It's a lot of work, actually. I have to prepare for the show next week. I have 2 collaborations ongoing, and I'm applying for funding for another, a big one. I'm also advising on an art activism group that makes art installations to challenge people to think about the ways technology is affecting their lives.
Makes sense, considering that it's related to Eliza.
Oh yeah, and I'm working on this, kind of like it's a granular synthesis engine, but with a new twist to it. It should be interesting.
Granular synthesis. Sorry, I don't know what that is.
It's a way to make sounds out of smaller sounds called grains. Maybe it's better to show you than to explain in words.
I'm guessing grains is like those pieces of pop sound every now and then where you're like, excuse me, I just drank water, so it's like getting in my throat. I think grains are like the poppy sounds from your audio or something like that, like background noise almost, maybe. I might be wrong. Sounds like you're busy but happy and you're likely to support yourself doing this. I chose this one, I think.
Sounds like you're busy, but happy.
Yeah, it's good. Well, I make less money than I used to, but I don't care. Old me might have worried about that. Not anymore, though. Sometimes I do take a little contract coding work, but I'm making most of my rent with booking fees and selling music and so on. Kind of crazy. Kind of scary, but good.
I don't think I could do that, but yeah, I mean, it sounds like that's some really experimental, crazy good stuff. If it makes you happy, it seems worth it. Yeah, so this is the choice that I stopped at. Okay, yeah, because it was a choice I remember I stopped at one point, so... If it makes you happy, it seems worth it.
If it makes you happy, it seems worth it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should consider moving in a direction like that.
You should. Listen, I hope you can get away from the industry too, at some point. Ah, that reminds me what I was going to tell you about.
What's up?
Our old boss is back on his bullshit.
Oh.
Rainer? Soren?
Soren Lloyd Rose. Celebrated psychologist, entrepreneur, and creepo.
Ah, so it is kind of like that harassment, sexual harassment in workplace kind of problem. Because when I hear creepo, I know for a fact that is a really bad sign for people who we work with, or for people who work with them. I should have known he'd make things awkward. Creepo? Maybe? Yeah, I'll choose this one.
Creepo?
Wait, he wasn't ever weird around you?
Really?
Did I ever tell you about the time that he hit on me with a story about past lives and the thread of destiny?
I guess it makes sense, yeah, because they try to hit on the person because they try to make this weird idea that they are, you know, together in the past lives and then they're destined to be together in the next life. It's, yeah, I get it. I see what she means by that.
Wait, what?
Oh, this is a good one. Okay, it was early on when the team was still pretty small, 7 or 10 people maximum. He'd gone out with some executives to dinner, and who knows what else. He came back to the office super late. I think it was like at least 11, maybe later. And the whiskey smell was just surrounding him. Like he jumped into a whiskey bathtub with his clothes on.
Yikes. I love how she said bleh. It's like, that's like the funniest sound I've ever the first sound I've ever heard that's like funny.
Maybe he'd like to do that, I don't know. Anyway, I was still there for some reason. I was in the crunch mindset.
Makes sense.
He came over to my desk and started to mumble about... I don't even know how to describe it. Just this nonsensical rambling.
But yeah, like, if you're at your workplace at 11, you're definitely crunching something.
He started by saying how much he hated businessmen, how ridiculous they are, that they don't know anything. He said that a few times. Then he said he could see my soul, that I was like a reincarnated spirit of... I don't remember, he said some name.
Like a person's name?
Like a mythological name. I didn't hear it very well, but it was like a Buddhist spirit or deity or something like that. Then he goes on to say how he and I, all of us on the team, we're all these reincarnated spirits sent to relieve human suffering at the end of the world.
Yeah, that's really weird.
And we're connected by a thread of destiny that draws us to each other again and again over multiple lifetimes. He talked about it like it was just like a red string you could see. So I'm thinking, Is this like some kind of pickup technique? You know, how people will talk to you and say, oh, you are the reincarnation of an ancient goddess or something. Ugh, just because they are horny.
I feel like he was just drunk. I don't think he was like trying to pick on her to pick up her in terms of the pickup line stuff, because she did say he was drinking, so it made sense that he was just drunk. He doesn't really know what he was doing by that point. I'd say the second one.
I'm sure he's tried that exact line. It really sounds like something he'd do.
He went on some more like that for a while, and I didn't know what to do. I wanted to leave, but he was blocking me where he was standing.
Yikes.
So I couldn't simply go. I had to keep listening to him.
Oh.
Finally, he mentioned that he would be open to the possibility of sleeping with me. And then he passed out on the couch immediately.
Stupid. I mean, I'm glad he was drunk, rather than... Like, at least his drunken state doesn't require them to be more aggressive than that, at least. At least Nora got away without having any bigger issues.
You're kidding.
No, not at all. Of course, we never talked about it after that. Certainly, I would not bring it up.
Yeah.
I wonder if he even remembers.
I don't think he does.
Nothing like that happened again. But I think it was because I took care to not be around if it seemed like he was going to be drunk at the office.
Mm-hmm. Makes
I
sense.
wonder if he's still that way. I'm sure he is.
Nora's smart. At least she's avoiding that.
Wow.
And now he's back. Isn't it exciting? He messaged me the other day wanting to talk to me about some new startup he's putting together.
But why would he approach Nora again for that? No. If you already have a bad thing going on, then you shouldn't go back for that.
He left Skanda?
He's planning to. It's a secret for now. He asked me to join, and I said, no, there's absolutely no way. Maybe a long time ago, I'd be interested in a chance to start a new company with someone famous like Soren at the top.
Interesting. So basically... Yeah, basically Skanda is a place that Evelyn and Nora used to work for as well. Like, just the tech company, not the Eliza one, but just the parent company is what they used to work for.
You know, a time when I'd put up with his shittiness because I believed in what we were doing. Change the world. You know the speech.
It's interesting so far. It's really interesting that they had previous past workplace of Skanda. It's really interesting.
Or, if we didn't change the world, at least we might get rich trying. I don't think that way anymore. I'm tired of the tech business. I'm tired of what guys like him represent. This industry can have fun eating itself and everything around it, causing as many problems as it solves. I don't want to be a part of it. It took me a while to see it, but I feel some responsibility for the world we live in now.
Interesting.
You've really changed, Nora.
It doesn't feel like I've changed. It just feels like I know more about myself than I used to.
I think going through a really rough place really does change a person, and it does challenge the person oneself to understand who they are. And I also agree with that. I've seen it myself where I'm like, I've been challenged so much so that I've been in a corner and I just realized like, oh wow, this is my capability, this is my limitation here. So it's interesting to see Nora saying the same thing, like how I think of myself, probably. Though I don't know about the tech industry eating itself out. It's a really rough thing because you can't really just... I think as an individual, you can't see the whole picture, and that's hard. And it's hard to see that. And seeing how bad it is in the industry, but in the general, it's like we only can know based on news, based on what we see from other companies that are tech-related, or companies related to your company and stuff like that. It's really hard to say for sure if that's the case, but I think in this game's world it does seem that case. So
I want to be creative, be myself to the maximum. Now I know you weren't lying about leaving social media because I posted about this a lot.
Yeah, I guess I missed it.
A lot can happen in 3 years.
makes sense.
Now I just hope maybe I could talk to other people who are in the same situation I was in. I want young people, especially women, to know that yes, it is possible to get rich by working with guys like Soren. But there is a big cost too.
I agree. I think that people who wants to be successful, they may have to encounter people who are at the higher ups who aren't responsible with their power. And I'm not saying that you know, I'm not saying like all companies are the same. I'm saying that there are a selected few, very, very few probably, nowadays, that you can kind of see from a magnifying glass that things are going on and it's bad. But I don't know. I don't know right at the top of my head, just thinking about any that has this exact same scenario, and I hope that nobody goes through that. But seriously, yes. It's a very, very, very difficult world to live in if there's like a bunch of people with that much power working that you have to work with, but have to like sacrifice a little bit of something just to make sure you can stay afloat for a little bit more. So yeah, it makes sense.
There's always a cost. Maybe a cost you didn't think about before.
True. I mean, there might be a cost for just like saying the things you want to say, you know. Time to get your thought out to a speech. Time to do, like, I think the cost is mostly time for the most part, but obviously cost is also could be emotional costs, could be financial costs, could be anything.
Or maybe it's a cost you thought you would be okay with paying, but then when the debt comes due, you realize, oof, it's bigger than you thought.
I agree. It's an interesting thought to think about, I think. It's a really interesting thought. I really actually appreciate that this narrative is taking that approach a little bit. Nora pauses for a moment. I wonder what that cost was for her.
Now that's my conclusion. But you, on the other hand, you should go and say hello to him.
Huh?
To Soren.
Yeah, he's giving this big keynote talk next week, you know? It's the reveal of his new startup. Many people will be watching.
I'll take the second one.
Maybe I should find out what he's up to now.
It will be interesting, don't you think?
I mean, it's not usually... Well, I mean, if Nora's inviting the idea to do that, I might consider it, but it's not like I'm 100% guaranteed as Evelyn to go for it 100%.
You're already working as a proxy for Eliza. That must be giving you some new perspectives.
Maybe.
Now you'll get to see what Soren believes the next step is. Don't tell me you're not the least bit curious.
Nope.
I don't know. Maybe I am.
I don't know Soren that well, so I don't think I should be.
It's free to attend?
Of course not. It's at one of those conferences you pay thousands of dollars to get into.
Okay, then that is definitely a no.
But lucky for you, I have an all-access pass. Here, take it.
Really, Nora?
Really? Are you sure?
Yeah, he had one sent to me. As if there's any way I would go to a snake person convention like that.
Snake person. But why are you making me sacrifice myself to go to this convention? That I just realized that. She's sacrificing me by taking her spot. It's like, come on, man. Maybe because she left that lifestyle, but I'm not going to...
Not the way you are now.
Like I said, I used to be naive.
If you're so against it, why do you think I should go?
Yeah, why?
Because I already made my decision. You need to go make yours.
Oh, I think she wants me to solidify the idea that I should not be ever part of Skanda. She wants me to leave Skanda completely. So she wants us to see the true nature of this whole tech industry thing that will influence Evelyn to pull out of working into the tech industry ever again. Like, I don't know, maybe. We'll see.
You're
Maybe
coming
that
out
might be
from the
case.
cave you were in for the last 3 years, and you need to decide what you're going to do next, right?
Maybe. Nora leans over the table toward me, a serious look in her eyes.
Evelyn, you're one of the smartest people I've met in my whole life. I'm serious. I've seen the way you approach things like this. You're going to research and learn as much as you can. And only then, when you feel like you know enough, you'll make your decision. Isn't that right? You have more to contribute to the world. But you want to know you're contributing the right things in the right way. I've always admired that about you. Anyway, I should get going. I have a rehearsal for a show to get to. It was really good to see you, though. Really, really good. I promise not to be a stranger anymore, okay?
Alright, well... Nora dashes off to her rehearsal. I mean... This conversation so far has become at least a little insightful about the world a bit more. And also a little bit about Evelyn and Nora, but mostly about Nora a little bit more. And I appreciate that they're trying to do this in a way that is a conversation between the two individuals. She's a busy person now. Busy but happy, it seems like. Is that the key secret? Keep yourself busy? Oh, we get to interact with the world. Alright. I will, with that notification on phone, I will end the episode here for now. So thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next episode of Nobody Minds. Hope you guys have a great, amazing day, weekend, night, or whenever watching this. This is only chapter 1 still. I'm guessing once we're done with this whole cafe restaurant thing, then we'll move forward to chapter 2, I'm assuming, from there. But thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry that this episode was a little bit longer than the previous two, but that's because the conversation kept going and going. And I also had my own thoughts and parts that I want to say. I mean, it could have gone longer, but it's how it is. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. That's it for this episode. Roz, out.